Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. It is February 28th. We're out here finally. We've got our potatoes. We're cutting these and we're putting these in. And what I want to talk about, I'm doing them in my container right here. I've got a few planted already. And these are my Magic Mollies. Now, a lot of people cut their potatoes and let them set for a day or two so they can scab over. Now I just cut mine whenever I plant. I don't wait for them to scab over. Now these are Magic Mollies. These are a purple potato. They've got plenty of purple juice. And whenever you cut these, if you look, there's eyes here. Now these aren't really on. Some of these eyes, they're not really popping out, but each one of these little things is an eye. And whenever you cut these potatoes, what you're going to do is you're going to cut them in a way that normally you just leave a couple of eyes. Now, a lot of people like to plant the whole potato, but when you do that, what you end up with is smaller potatoes, because they all try to sprout up. Your plant sprouts a whole bunch of shoots up from that one potato, and it tends to make the potato size smaller. If you cut them where you got a couple of eyes, what's going to happen is you're going to have a couple of stalks shoot up from that one. It's going to have more room around it, and you're going to have bigger potatoes. So it depends on what you're looking for. If you're just looking for, a lot of people like what we call new potatoes down here in the south, where they're small potatoes you can put with green beans, or just wash them, boil them up whole, then you might want to do that. But if you're looking for good sized potatoes, even some bakers, you want some bigger roasting potatoes or something, you need to make sure you cut them so you don't have a whole lot of eyes on one part. So I'm going to get after planting these. These are going to be in my container, and then we'll go to talk about cutting some of our blue potatoes here in just a minute. Okay, now on our other blue potatoes, or you say purple too, these are a little bit older. They're shriveling up. They've got well developed eyes. I'm just going to cut this one into two right here. But when I'm planting these, now I want to kind of plant the eyes up, but I'm not worried about planting these very deep. I'm just planting these just a little bit under the ground. This is a half of a 55-gallon barrel. I'm planting them kind of high for one reason. A lot of times these barrels, and especially if it gets a lot of rain, they tend to stay moisture way down low. But the other reason is I'm going to come back in on these barrels here, and I have some pine bark compost, which tomatoes like a little more acidy soil, closer to 5.5, and so I'll put that pine bark mulch. What I'm going to do is, I haven't fertilized these yet. They do have a still rich compost, but I'll take them, put me some chicken manure in here, and then I'll put that other mulch on top. But I can do that even once they sprout, because if we tend to have cold weather here, what happens is the potato could emerge and it could freeze. But what we do down here is we just cover it back up, whether it be in the ground with dirt or whether it be in a container like this. We'll just cover it up, protect its leaves. They'll come back out and it'll continue to grow. While I'm planting my potatoes, what I'm going to do is, I have some sweet potatoes. Now I had a problem. I put these in the refrigerator and a lot of them started to mildew. But what I'm going to do is, when you're growing sweet potato slips, normally I just put these inside, but this year I'm going to put them out in one of my little containers here, and you just put them in there close together, and we're going to put some more over here. They can be right up on top of each other. Now hopefully these will still sprout some more slips, but what happens is whenever you're planting sweet potatoes, you actually grow the slips and plant them. So these will send off shoots. Hopefully these are still good. They'll send off shoots, and it'll once they come up, it should be warmer, and we'll go ahead and plant those out for our sweet potatoes. But we'll do the same thing here. We're just going to throw these in here, and we probably got a lot more room. Now this one's already got soft, so we're not going to use it. And hopefully we'll still have some, because these were some sweet potatoes I've been saving for years. We've always grown our own and redone them, but this year they looked like they was growing too fast, and so I put them in the refrigerator and didn't pay attention to them. So anyway, hopefully we'll have some this year. My other sweet potatoes, these are my Stokes Purple sweet potatoes. This is a new variety I'm doing this year, and as you can see, they're starting to grow. But I'm going to plant these like I do every year. I'm going to just lay them in a container, and I'm going to just cover them up a little bit. I'll finish covering them up, but I'll cover them up a little bit. I'm just using a regular old potting mix from the store, and moisten them down, and then just wait for them to grow. But these will have inside, so it'll be a little bit warmer. Chances are these will start sprouting earlier than the other ones, but it's as simple as that. Once they start sprouting and you get ready, it's time to plant, they'll just take all these sprouts off. They should have roots. Even if they don't, it don't take them long to root in the ground as long as it's moist. But we'll do that at a later time. If you want to know more about that, you can look at some of my earlier videos. When you're selecting seed potatoes, if you're buying them now, these were bagged up. I could have selected some, but I looked in and it's looked pretty good. But sometimes you end up on the bottom of my bag, I end up with some potatoes that look like this. Now, when you're saving seed potatoes, you never want to save a potato this big. You want a potato this size or this size. These are excellent sizes, bigger than a golf ball and smaller than a tennis ball. But when you start getting them this big, and as you can see, there's a lot of potato here, but there's not a lot of eyes on this thing. It might form some more in some of these places, but they just don't do as well as the smaller ones. So just take that in consideration. And also when you're planting these, now I'm not planting them real deep. I'm planting them about 4 to 6 inches. But potatoes put their potatoes on above the seed potato that you plant. So you want to have these deeper. Now I always come back and I pile dirt up around them, or mulch or something up higher, and that's what I'll do with these. I'll just, as they come up, I'll mulch and build it up. So they will be considerably deeper in the end. But realize that some potatoes will put on potatoes all up the stem. These are more of your medium to late potatoes. Your early potatoes, usually most of those will just put potatoes on at one level on the lower part of it. So be aware of the type of potato you have too. Okay, all the potatoes are in the ground. I hope this video was helpful if you're planning to plant potatoes. Like I say, if it's cool where you're at and you put them in too early because it's a little warming spell coming in there and they decide to sprout out, just go ahead and take a hoe and put a little dirt over the top of them, and they'll be fine and shoot right back up. If you want to see more of my videos, just hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell so you'll be notified. And give a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Happy gardening.